is all about rehab. This person goes over, does acute, aggressive inpatient rehab, because we need to see if we're going to get some of that return. Now, some of it returns quickly, and some patients, some of it, and that a lot of it depends on how bad the immune response was. Or other people may end up with a point where they actually end up with residual issues that follow them all the way through life, or they're in rehab for 3 months, 6 months, and then they go to some assisted. I mean, you can see the gamut of things that kind of go along with that. The bad part about it, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason as to who gets better and who doesn't. If you have a patient who gets to the point where they're, you're having diaphragmatic stuff, that person is then transferred to ICU, because that's not a patient you manage on before. So those are kind of things you kind of look at to see where this person is going. So all of these are neuromuscular conditions. These 3 are chronic. When you talk about what's going on with your patient. Okay, so myasthenia is chronic, the patient has MS is chronic, and the patient has Lou Gehrig's disease, that's chronic. When you talk about Guillain-Barré, it's not really considered chronic because it's usually a cyclical thing. The person gets sick, you treat them, and most of them get better to the point you're not thinking about it. And wherever it ends up, as far as wherever their better is where they stay. They're not going to have another weakening of what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's like if you get return of movement of your leg, but you still have sensory deficits, that's where you're going to stay. It's not going to be that you're going to get more sensory disorder because now this is better, or that you're going to have more deficit in movement. Now it's like whatever you recover to is what you recover to. What we try to do is get you stronger, or that you're actually able to do more things on your own at that point. But it tends to be what we call it's not a chronic disorder, but it's not really acute. It's kind of somewhere in the middle as far as what's happening with the patients. Your myasthenia patient is going to be stronger in the morning. Acetylcholine is the issue that we have here, and we have supplementation for that. So what we want to do is try to make sure that patient gets their medication. If they're going to do some extra things, that we give them medication a little more, or give it to them more frequently. But that's the major thing, is to figure out when they're going to need their meds. You schedule periods during the day when they rest, so they're not always, on point kind of thing. But they can live a long life. But essentially, you have an alert person, body failure. When you have MS, periods of exacerbation and remission, patient gets better, patient gets worse. I may have return of everything I lost, or I may end up losing pieces of it as it goes along. So that's something that you see with patients who have MS. This one also is one that tends to have more women. You have visual disorders or bladder disorders, or you're presenting things with your patient when you see them. With Lou Gehrig's disease, it's going to be a progressive disorder that usually is going to see the person die within a few years of diagnosis. It's never going to be something that you can have 20 years like you can have with an MS patient. Okay, this is going to be something where a patient's going to have a diagnosis. You're going to see them, and it's supportive care, those types of things you do for patients. And probably I should say, because we have a person that kind of fits outside of the category that nobody can figure out why he's still alive, and that's Stephen Hawking. The man is a genius. Has this story. Nobody can figure out how he's still alive. I don't know. He looks kind of strange. I know that's bad, but it's because he's brilliant, but he's trapped in his body. He can't do anything, but he thinks about all kinds of stuff. It's like watching the cosmos kind of thing. Listening to all. And then our GBS, where you have a patient who has an acute kind of chronic, kind of middle of the road thing, but the ascending paralysis is what kind of gives that away. But all of these are neurologic disorders. How we look at the global thing is neurology. And you think about what are you going to do with your assessment of your patient. What assessment, when taking care of these people, kind of gives away their diagnosis. Because that's like being strong in the morning gives that diagnosis away. Or a person who has ascending paralysis gives that away. So what makes it different? Person gets better, the symptoms totally disappear, and now it comes back. What makes it different? Because that's the assessment piece that kind of goes along with that. Okay. Knowing every single drug that is there is not necessary. because that part of it, you're looking at the overall thing. In real life, when you're talking about your NCLEX exam, they're going to ask you about medication categories that apply to the majority of people, not just specific drugs that you look at. So that's why I told you about the immune modulators, because pretty much a lot of them are used for 3 things anyway, that you're going to see used. So what do you do for those patients? It's a safety issue, infection control, that kind of thing. All right, so last two in our neuro section actually have to do with cognitive disorders. Okay, so different things that are happening. I swear to God, I have dementia already, so that's already there. So that's my retarded self. I own it, kind of thing. But one of the things that kind of differentiates these two, because you think about these, because some people say Alzheimer's dementia, and there are some people that say Alzheimer's disease, whatever kind of thing. Dementia is that thing about this person is no longer able, they're cognitively, they're having problems. So it's not just, that's why I say I must have this now. So, there are some disorders, truly, that actually are associated with patients developing dementia later in life. One of them is iron deficiency anemia. So if you had iron deficiency anemia for a long time, there's studies that show that you can have dementia later in life. And I think part of that is because there's less circulating blood, is your brain not getting what it needs, and that's why you're retarded. I don't know. So it just kind of depends on what you see. Because there's always a theory behind what happens with your patient. But you see cognitive decline in patients who have dementia. That's essentially what's going on. There can be delirium. Delirium is more of an acute process that happens associated with either medications, drugs, stimulation, those types of things. But dementia is something that is progressive. You're going to see a decline in cognitive ability that happens over time. So that's why they consider it a disease of aging. If we have some things going on in our brain because there's not as much blood supply, all those things that are happening because this person is now having dementia or senility, however you want to put it there. But those are things that are going on. So cognitive decline that happens over time, progressive. So you can have a person that ends up having problems. Now the issue that we have with Alzheimer's disease is that it is a form of dementia. That is one of the things that was classified as. But you see a more rapid decline happening in patients. Can also happen earlier in life because you have early onset Alzheimer's disease, which is far more progressive, and quickly the person progresses to dementia associated with that. But with this one, you know how we see, when you have a person who has dementia, even that older person that's been, because some of you work in ALFs, you got a person that's older and they have dementia, they still know what a cup is to drink something. That's what's different when we talk about a patient who has Alzheimer's. They no longer recognize that a cup is a cup. And they don't remember how to eat. They don't remember what a fork is. Those are the kind of things that are different. So there's a difference in the type of cognitive decline that they have in an Alzheimer's patient as opposed to a patient who just has pure dementia. This is a person that also, they just forget how to do things. And they forget people. And they have periods of time when they're really lucid. And then other times where they don't know anybody. One of my neighbors has the funniest story he tells about his dad. This guy that his name is Tony. And but he sounds like Barry White. He probably weighs 110 pounds, but his voice is so deep like Barry White. And it was so funny one day he was telling us about going to see his dad who has Alzheimer's. And he said his dad started talking to him and like he just knew who he was. And then finally he said, I don't know whether his dad said something that was off or whatever. And so he said, well, who am I? And then his dad told him, I don't know who the hell you are. Get out of my room. So sometimes it can be very, painful to the person who's a family member because you remember this person how they were. And all of a sudden they can't remember you. They don't know who you are. They don't recognize who you are. And then other days of the week they know you extensively. So that's one of the things that is sometimes hard to deal with and why we have a lot of support for family members with Alzheimer's patients. You can also see people that have not only the cognitive changes, but you can also have changes in behavior. you know, you have a person who is really nice all their life and now wants to fight all the time. They wander, you know, so that's why we actually have Alzheimer's units where patients are actually locked in those areas so they can, they're not a danger to themselves just by walking off, which sometimes they'll do, which can be dangerous, of course. Or they can actually be combative and all those types of things. Now, we do have some medications that stop the progression of disease. Namimba is probably one of the oldest ones that's in that group. And by far, you see, if it's not going to actually cure